stop the run, be physical, affect the pass as much as we can. They did a lot of, throwing the ball last week. And, I thought they moved the ball pretty well. Obviously, they're still a good team with great players. DeForest is coming back. That helps that defense out a lot. But they moved the ball pretty well. And, so for us, man, we just got to be where we need to be and execute the calls that need to be had.
What do you think? Phillip Rivers, 44 years old, coming off after 5 years not playing. What's your assessment?
I mean, he's doing what he's supposed to do, for a guy that just came off, from coaching his high school team or, whatever he was doing. Like, to come into the professional football league and, deliver touchdowns, deliver passes. They say he can't throw it deep, but still getting the ball to where it needs to be, getting guys lined up right, making sure everything's functional. So, kudos to him with that. But at the end of the day, man, we got a job to do, and, he's going to have to play some real football this week, and I can't wait. I'm excited.
You guys clinched, but there seems to be that job's not done mentality. Where does that come from? Is that from coaches? Is that from you guys?
Yeah, I think it's just the culture of what we're trying to build here. Coach Cohen has done a heck of a job. Yeah, well, it starts top down. You look at James, you look at Tony. It starts with them, and then you get the identity of the head coach. And then, he brings the coaches that he feels like that's going to, embody what he feels. And then you get the players, you bring the players in that can embody all these emotions and feelings. And, as a culture, as players, as a locker room, I feel like, we just embodied that, disrespectful tone. And we like it, you know what I mean? And, we look forward to it. And I'm not saying we enjoy it, but, like, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're going to keep playing football. I told you a couple weeks ago, man. We're just going to keep playing until, they say we suck, but we're in the Super Bowl. So, and I'm cool with that. And I think everybody in this locker room, everybody in this building is cool with that as well.
Does getting only one player in the Pro Bowl, does that add to that?
Yeah, that was the craziest. Obviously, what I'm saying, shout out to Ross, man. 3-peat, he's definitely going to be another All-Pro this year. The way he's been playing. So kudos to him. He deserves it. But I think we have other guys that's on the team that deserves it as well. I know they changed the rules. They told me today they changed the rules about the alternate for the defensive line, offensive line. I think that's crazy. But it is what it is. But then you look at Devin Lloyd, a guy that's deserving of every award a linebacker or any defensive player should have. He should be number one priority, and for have a guy to, be an alternate in that. But, I don't know what position they had him at. If it's inside linebacker, outside linebacker, I think he would be the best inside linebacker in the National Football League. And you look at those guys on the list, much respect to those guys, but nobody's doing what he's done, and, they need to put him as an inside linebacker. And he needs to go that.
I was just saying, can that fuel you guys this week? You're always looking for something to keep you guys on edge a little bit.
That's more of a Devin thing. You know what I'm saying? We love Devin, and it kind of pisses me off. But again, it just goes back to the same old thing that we kind of been experiencing. So, it's expected. But at the end of the day, he's going to be an All-Pro. Yeah. And we have other guys that's on the team that deserves that as well. But you look at just Devin in particular, man. He deserves all the praises, that again a defensive player should have, and he's going to get at the end of the day. And once we keep winning, he's going to keep putting on the show and get put on that pedestal, and we're going to hype him up every week, the plays that he makes, and he's going to come up big for us again.
Were you surprised by Trayvon post-game on Sunday? Just some of the word choice, some of the fire.
Mm-hmm. No, I think anybody in that moment would have said some wise words like that. But again, he speaks from the heart. I think that's what we all do. I don't think we're big. Let me think about that. We get caught in a moment. Think about it. I probably shouldn't say that, but right after the game, heat of the moment. Y'all seen us. Guys get so frustrated we can't talk at the meeting because we're afraid of what we may say, so we may leave. You know what I mean? Out the meeting room. But again, big emotional game, big emotional response, and it was all deserving, and what he spoke was true. And the responses that we got from that, man, these people are insane. So, so shout out to that guy. Shout out to I don't know who that guy was, but shout out to him for calling him a moron, getting this. Y'all ain't see that?
No, I thought I was
Look
talking
it
about
up.
him
Look
and
it up.
Bucky.
Look it up. Look at. Oh, Buck. Shout out to Bucky. I love Buck. But there's some, coach told me about somebody saying something about Trey, and this. Shout out to that guy, man. We're about. He makes him. He thinks we're fools. He's making himself look like a fool. You know what I'm saying? So,
Oh.
but again, it is what it is. We love it. Just keep pushing.
How wild, I know you can't reflect too much, but how wild is this league when a year ago you were in Indianapolis sitting on a tarmac for 6 hours, changing coaches, and now here you are going with a chance to win the
I won there
division.
last year.
You won, you're right. Sorry.
That's
Forgot
all
about
right.
that. But how different, it's just crazy how
Yeah.
it changes so fast in this league.
I mean, again, it's the National Football League for a reason, man. Every year anybody can beat anybody at any week, and then every year can be a different. You get a whole new regime change, and just like that, everything changes. So, I think for us, it's just the stability and keep finding that edge. We harp on the edge. What's our edge? What's our edge? And we always find that each week, and we find a way to win different ways. So it's not like we win in one way every time, or we're losing one way. We're finding a way. It's overtime, close win. If it's a blowout, it's whatever. We finding a way to win and winning those situational moments. And I think we've been doing a really good job at that.
Seems like there's a pretty good chance teams are going to be interested in camp, talking to him for coaching opportunities. Just what have you liked about him, and just what have you really experienced with him this year?
I mean, shout out to Camp, man. He's all deserving for anything that comes to him. He's been nothing but a good family member for us, and I'm not gonna say uncle, brother, or nothing like that, but just as somebody that wants the best for you, and you can kind of feel it every single day. Excuse me. He embodies that, and he embodies the fire, that edge. You talking about edge, man? For a coach, he has one of the craziest edges I've ever seen every single day, bro. He just, he tells us a little bit about his background, how he grew up. You can't do nothing but root for the guy. So, and he trusts us, and he believes in us, and he shows it every week, and so he deserves everything that's coming for him.
Have you ever had